All right, it's time to close the chapter of 2022 and start 2023 like a fresh new chapter. And for this, you must develop mental and emotional freedom to be able to write fresh new lessons and stories in your chapter. So today we're going to talk about all things to do with closure, how to actually close off what has gone and passed, and then starting fresh from there. Are we cool? When we want to start fresh, whether it's a relationship, our health, finance, spirituality, business, work, career, anything that you want to start fresh and in a new way, you must realize that, there's a chapter that you're starting which needs to be coming from the fresh new you instead of the old past you that is carrying some baggage. This chapter, you're going to be fully aware of exactly how you make your mistakes and how you ended up in unwanted situations in the past so you can prevent what's going to happen next, so that you can avoid the pitfalls that you might have gotten into before because of a lack of awareness, or maybe because you weren't mentally and emotionally free to make new decisions. So many of us know exactly what to do, right? But why do we not then follow through? And that's because 95% of our behaviors are actually coming from the unconscious mind. And this means that we need to always work towards processing what we have been suppressing or repressing so that the chances of unconscious and unwanted behaviors decrease over time. So it's not like you do this once and it stops and everything is done and dusted. We actually have to develop a practice of giving ourselves the closure that maybe we didn't get a chance to do. So end of year reflections really help with closing off what no longer needs to be running as an unfinished program in our heads so that we can prevent that same thing happening over and over again in the coming years. What you'll start noticing as a result of giving yourself closure and closing off anything that is incomplete or anything that you have suppressed or repressed is that you are talking better with yourself. You are thinking resourcefully. You are being solution oriented. You are not getting frustrated with yourself. You're being patient and encouraging of yourself to go for the new adventures that you're setting yourself off on. So if you know that this is you, this is the kind of person you want to be in the new year, then you will value this type of work, which will mean that you'd rather do the work now so that you can allow yourself to create new experiences in the future, and that'll make you unstoppable. Empowered women are open to looking for solutions. They are openly admitting that, hey, I have learned this lesson. These are the things that I'm going to take with me. These are the things that I'm going to leave behind. And that's that. I've been watching my mentors, Marie Forleo, Denise Duffield Thomas, Remy Pearson. We are all getting reminders from these brilliant women that we must become aware of our repeating patterns, right? We need to have good self-awareness, but beyond self-awareness means we actually take actions in alignment to what we have learned. That is when the shift takes place. So empowered women are open to look at their patterns because they are growth oriented. They have a growth mindset. And if you are ready to have growth in the new year for the stuff that didn't work in 2022, you are willing to release that, then this is the video for you. The thing about closure is, and it's been defined by medical professionals and psychologists, which is it gives you a sense of completion. It gives you a sense of understanding, peace, acceptance, and acceptance for something being final. And that something might have happened from a sense of loss or an experience of loss, an experience of betrayal, experience of other parties not coming through, experience of you not showing up, right? All of this you end up having a sense of peace and acceptance for and an understanding of. So this is what closure really looks like, that you actually understand what actually happened instead of looking at it from a very biased kind of way. And this will give you the permission to move forward. So at Seva, we've actually got a 3-step process, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. Cool? The 3 steps are: step 1, reflect. Step 2, forgive. Step 3, reset your game plan. Step 1 is simple. There are 3 questions that I want to ask you. Question number 1, what are all the lessons you learned this year? Write down the smallest to the biggest. Do not leave anything out. Sit yourself down with a cup of tea, put pen to a page, and write down all of the lessons, mistakes, incidents that happened. The better you are at recalling these and reflecting on these, the better your chances are of decluttering and moving forward. So don't be afraid of looking at the mess that we made. Question number 2 is, what did these lessons, mistakes, incidents teach you about yourself? And question number 3, write down, what did these lessons, incidents, mistakes teach you about other people? That is it. That's your reflection. Now, once you have done that, we move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is forgiveness. And this is where we move into our hearts. Our hearts. We need to dig deep and forgive the other person. Now, when I say a person, I'm also referring to whoever it is that you feel is to be blamed for it. Sometimes we unconsciously blame the universe, God, parents, right? We are not saying it, but we're actually thinking it. So dig deep and make a list of all the people that you need to forgive or entities that you want to forgive, and forgive them. And step 2 is forgive yourself in each and every incident and lesson you learned. Forgive yourself, forgive your other people, and you're done. And now step number 3 is reset your game plan. So knowing what you know now, how will you show up differently? How will this make a difference in the new year for you? To stay consistent for your goals, your life, your family, your business, right? For whatever you're starting fresh with, how will you show up differently? Because these lessons were there to teach you about you. How can you better show up next year? I'm actually holding a live webinar on this, and I'd love for you to come along to have the space held for you. I'm going to guide you through this thing so you can keep showing up with the right mindset and the right attitude towards the new year. Let's face it, if we always practice what we knew to be right, then would we really be listening to podcasts like these? No. But do know that you are not alone. We are all battling the 95% of unconscious behavior that needs processing and that needs reconditioning. We're all working on the same problem. So this is a space I'm holding, which is my webinar, and it's going to be on 22nd of December, just before we close off for the holidays. So I want you to sign up for it. The link is in the description box below, and come along to learn to set a new game plan for yourself for the year ahead. Now, you might be thinking, well, Supriya, this time doesn't match my availabilities. What do I do? Well, you can join the Facebook group. There, I will post that replay there. You will get the replay only if you're in the Facebook group or if you are a part of my programs. So to wrap it up today, what we've talked about is you must give yourself closure. There are 3 steps to closure. Step 1 is reflection. Step 2, forgiveness. Step 3, resetting your game plan. Now, you might be able to do this all on your own because I've given you the formula to giving yourself closure to be able to move forward. And with every new start, don't forget, you do not have to do it alone. You can surround yourself with like-minded communities and mentors, coaches, so you can be supported in your endeavors to starting new chapters. With every new start, you must follow through with new behaviors because that is the actual test for whether you have learned the lesson or not. The behaviors that come up will show you exactly where you're at with your life, that life's chapter. Before you start 2023, make sure you get the closure that you truly deserve to move forward for your life, business, and goals. Next week, I'm going to be sharing on being present, having gratitude, and how to actually do that as a practice. See you next week.